We've got to finish up our skirt. We've got it all cut out now. So what you're going to do is take one of your fold edges, doesn't matter which one because they're all the same, and you're just going to take your scissors and you're just going to split it right down the middle. And if you have a flaw in your fabric, this is a perfect time to cut on the flaw, because I had a little, wasn't a tear, but a little weak spot in my fabric right here. So I decided to cut on that line, and that's going to end up being my seam line. And when you do that, and then when you open it up, see, now you've got the skirt in one long section here. So now we're ready to construct the skirt. I'm kind of hippie, so I like to leave a 9-inch opening for my zipper. Standard is 7 because my waist is so much smaller than my hips. So I'm going to measure down 9 inches because that's where I want the zipper. And when I measure my 9 inches, I'm going to mark it with my chalk pen. You know me, I don't like to use pens, I like to use chalk. So now you'll go to the sewing machine and you're going to sew this. As far as finishing your edges, now is the time you want to do that. So when I sew mine together, I'm going to go ahead and serge both of my ends, so when I sew it, then it's all finished. I've got my side seams done. Well, actually it's going to be my back seam. And what I did is I just serged each individual side first, and then I sewed a 5/8 inch seam allowance, and that left me a 9-inch opening at the top for the zipper. So now the skirt is done. See, here's our opening here, and there's our waistline. So now we're ready to do the waistband. In cutting the waistband, you just want to grab some of your scrap fabric, and what I do is, this is a piece that I had that I cut the circle out of. I'm going to line them up, the selvage edges together, and then I like to take the fabric and fold it over in 4s, because I'm a person that I really like saving time. So if I can cut a couple layers at a time versus one layer, I'll do that. Now this is where you determine how wide you want your waistband. And a standard waistband is about 3.5 inches wide. In my case, I've already cut my waistband. I want a wide waistband. You've seen the high-waisted skirts. So when I take my waistband and I fold it in half, and my waistband is measuring 6 inches, so once I do my seam allowance, it's going to probably end up being like 5.5 inches, but it's going to give me a nice wide waistband, and that's what I want. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I put the skirt onto the mannequin. I just got a pin there to hold it in place because it's kind of sliding down. But I took my waistband that I cut, the wide one that I wanted, and I'm folding it in half because I want you to get a visual of what I'm talking about with the wide waistband and how cute it looks. You see how my waistband comes up high, and it's going to give that high empire look. You can make your waistband as narrow. See, if I fold that in half, then it becomes small. So you can make it as wide or as narrow as you want. This is where your creativity comes into play. I wanted my waist to be a 32. I always like to have about 4 inches more than what I need for my waist. And I'm just going to cut it. And when you apply interfacing, you want interfacing on 1/2 of the waistband only. I have my interfacing here, so I'm just going to cut just so that I have some, because mine is on a roll and it's kind of hard to lay it all out. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of it. I've got my waistband folded in half. So I'm going to lay it on top of the interfacing, and then I'm going to cut that interfacing off. Now when you open out the waistband, you remember I only cut a piece for half the waistband width. So I'm going to lay this down on half of it. Now you're just going to press this down and get ready for the application of the waistband. After ironing the interfacing down, you're going to take the waistband and you're going to fold it in half and you're going to press it. I press my back seam seams flat, and because our skirt is kind of on like a bias, where I'm going to insert my zipper, I ironed in a little strip of interfacing to keep that nice and straight. Now, if you're using a wide waistband like I'm using, you want to attach your waistband first. I want my skirt to zip all the way up, so I'm going to attach my waistband first, and then I'll put the zipper in the whole project. To attach the waistband, you want to sew right sides together, and remember, we put the interfacing on the inside, so this will be your right side. So you're going to line up, starting with the opening where the zipper goes, right here. You're going to take the right side of the waistband, and I'm going to leave just a little bit on each side, maybe about an inch. And you just want to pin that in place all the way around. I've got the waistband pinned in place with the right sides together, starting from the opening where the zipper is, and I pinned it all the way around. So when you flip it up, now you see it will be attached all the way around. So now you want to sew your 5/8 inch seam allowance to connect the waistband. So now is when you would turn in, and you're going to do the zipper on the waistband as well as the skirt combined. You want to start right where you fold it, because this is going to be the fold line. That's where the zipper is going to stop. So I'm just doing a zipper where it kind of butts up together. Right where I press the waistband on the fold line is where the top of the zipper will go. I want you to see how I've got the zipper pinned. This is the bottom of the skirt, and here is where the waistband attaches right there. And this is where the fold line was, so that's the top of the zipper. So now you insert your zipper, and then you do the other side to finish your zipper off, and I'll show you how you close up the waistband. So now I'm just going to sew my zipper down, over, and back up, and I'll be done with the zipper. So I've put my zipper in, and now we're ready to finish off the waistband. So I've turned up a little small seam of the waistband facing. You're going to flip it backwards on the fold, and you're going to line up the fold line, and then you're going to line up the inside of the waistband where the zipper was attached. You're going to line those up together and pin them, and then you're going to sew very close to the zipper here. So when you stitch that facing close to the zipper and you turn it, your waistband gets finished and the zipper gets closed up inside. So see how nice and neat the inside looks? And you'll do the same thing for the other side. Now this is what our finished zipper looks like with the waistband all finished. See how nice and neat that is? So when you flip it on the inside, as you see, the zipper is all closed in and it's all finished up, and there's no raw edges on either piece. Now that your zipper is in, we need to finish up the outside of the waistband. So we're going to pull the waistband down, and on the outside we're going to pin it. You want to make sure that you can feel the waistband underneath, and you're just going to pin it in place because we're going to stitch that down on the outside. So pin the waistband down all the way around. So now that the waistband is pinned all the way around on the outside, what we're going to do now is we're going to top stitch in the ditch. And what I mean by top stitching in the ditch is right where our seam is here, we're going to stitch right in that line. And when you do that, you'll be catching just a portion of the waistband on the inside, and that'll keep it laying down. To stitch in the ditch, you're going to stitch right on that line, and it kind of disappears. I want you to see the inside where the waistband is. See, it just caught just a little bit of it. And when you flip on the underside, you see how you don't see the stitching? Because the stitching is right into the ditch. And there's the wide waistband that I wanted for my circle skirt. Now as far as finishing up the hem, I'm just going to simply serge the edge, and then I'm going to do a simple top stitch. Or you could take and do a rolled edge stitch, a rolled hem with the rolled foot. You can just roll it and turn it under, but like I said, I'm going to serge and I'm going to top stitch mine. So you can turn it up twice like this to finish it off. But in my case, I'm going to serge it and then I'm going to top stitch it. And here's our finished skirt. As you can see, we have the high waist and we have the beautiful circle bottom. I think it's ready, and I hope that this project has been helpful for you, and I hope that you try it. Happy sewing!